How is it possible somebody can pay 50 cents per click when their competitors are paying $1 or maybe $1.50 per click, and they're still getting traffic and still reaching their budget limits every single day inside Google Ads? That's what I want to answer for you today. It's completely possible. It's entirely possible. It's something we do day in and day out. And how is that obtainable? And how could you even work towards getting that? So real quick, we're running campaigns for about 150 clients across the country. Most of them are real estate agents, and most of them are in pretty hyper-competitive markets. If anybody knows anything about the real estate industry, real estate lead generation used to be cheap in COVID, when there was a lot of people sitting at home watching the markets and seeing what houses were for sale, and hey, can I get this house now because now I got a lot of money in my bank account because I haven't been traveling. So there's a lot of eyeballs and a lot of search going on. So that cost per click dropped drastically through that worldwide pandemic, and then came back pretty heavily in the last year and a half. So the cost per click has raised substantially. You might even say it's raised as much as the home pricing has. So there's direct correlation to all that stuff. But we still tend to get a sub $1 a click on our cost per click. And there's a couple of variations and a couple of ways you can find your way into that. And let's unpack that real quick and sort of explain how you can get your clicks cheaper, how you can still get the traffic that you want, and how you can kind of beat your competitors at that auction that we call Google Ads. So, cheap clicks, not cheap tricks, but cheap clicks is something that people ask us a lot about. And honestly, the answer to the cheap clicks is all depends on the environment you're in. So the there's four parameters to performing well in a market and getting a lower cost per click than, say, your peer. Typically, we always hit that, and there's a couple of really good reasons why. But when we're talking through your click-through rate or click-through ratio, CTR, your keyword quality score, your QS, and then your landing page experience, those are the first three. And the fourth one that has the most bearing on things is the number of competitors in your market, how many different people are advertising, and then how many searches, what's the search volume in yours. And that the search volume and the competitors in your market have a giant variation of what that end cost is gonna be for us. The first three are ones that as a marketer we're working towards and staying pretty consistent on, and I can explain that. But if you have a high click-through rate, then that means that every time somebody sees your ad, they're clicking on it, 1 out of 10 times, 1 out of 9 times, 1 out of 8 times. Those ratios are pretty good. If you're staying above a 10% click-through rate, CTR, those are good numbers. And it usually means your ad copy is good. We usually hover around 11 to 13, sometimes 20% for our click-through rate, which is a very high number. There's laws of diminishing returns on that as well. That's time that'd be for another video on why click-through rate isn't as important. Why click-through rate is important when you're talking about your cost per click is because it's looking at your ad copy. If your ad copy was terrible, if you said click here to see some houses, or click here please, I'm desperate, people aren't going to click there, right? So your ad copy is going to suck. So Google's not going to put your ad up there. Google's not going to want to give you a pole position in those top 3 or 4 positions, and you're ultimately not going to get a great click-through rate. So you're going to have to pay more and more and more. Where if I'm doing a really good ad copy for, say, telling them I want to pay 50 cents or 56 cents or whatever I put on that bid, my competitor might say they want to spend $2 per click, but their ad copy is so terrible, Google's still saying, Nick, I'm going to give you this one because this ad copy sucks. And then we go to the next few parameters in there. The other 2 parameters, so you got your CTR, you've got your keyword quality score, and then you have your landing page experience. If your keyword matches up with your ad copy and matches up with your landing page experience, your keyword quality score is going to go up. So what I mean by that is if somebody's doing a search for, let's do a very generic, very basic, like Scottsdale homes for sale. That's technically a long tail keyword because it's more than 2, whatever. That's for another day for another debate. But if we're looking at Scottsdale homes for sale, and in my ad copy it says see all Scottsdale homes for sale, 350 homes for sale in Scottsdale today. We've got ad copy that says that stuff. you're stuffing that keyword inside your ad copy. You're not stuffing it overzealously. You're putting real quality content into there, and it shows. So on the landing page, if we have a good ad page title, you have a good page title, page description, H1 header, and then you have ad copy inside your landing page, or just content inside your landing page that speaks to the keyword that person searched and to the ad copy. Everything has a nice synergistic feel. Your page loads fast. That's a big thing. A lot of people don't talk about that, but speed does kill. So if you get crappy speeds on your website, it's not going to work. If you force a registration where as soon as that page pops up, it goes like this, that's not good. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let them see the page. Let them read what they want to read. Let them click on something. Now, if they click on something and then it comes up and says, hey, please give me your information, that's different. So all that stuff comes into play, right? So if you have all that stuff perfect and there's a good amount of search volume, you have the ability to kind of dictate your terms with Google. Not totally, but to a point. Google might say, I'd really like you to pay me $2 per click. And then you come in and say, you know what, I'm going to give you $1 a click because I think you've got an overload of volume, and I think I have a better product than I'm offering. I think I have a better ad, I have a better keyword set, and I have a better landing page. So I have all this stuff better than what you're averaging seeing in the industry. So it all comes down to that fourth factor. That fourth factor is an important one. It is number of competitors, number of people putting up ads and competing with you, and the search volume. So how many people are actually looking for that? How many people actually want to buy a home for sale in Scottsdale? If that volume is extremely high and the competition isn't, then you're going to end up with a pretty low cost per click. But if that competition is extremely high and the search volume's down, which we might see in a market that, say, has really high interest rates and that has a lot of people out there trying to jockey for more leads, or for the people that really want to buy right now, we're seeing an inflation of those cost per clicks. We're seeing a reduction in the conversion rate. So we're seeing a higher cost per lead because we got less people looking for homes for sale and a lot of people in the market advertising. Not only do we have that, but we've got a lot more intelligent competition out there. Gone are the days of you just going directly to a local person or going to your CRM and saying, hey, run these ads for me. I don't care what happens. Now you've got to be a little bit more smart about it and get somebody with good ad copy, somebody that's going to manage it, and somebody that's going to manage that auction properly. So all of a sudden, the more competition, the more quality of the competition, that cost per click gets higher. Where this is okay and where this evens itself is that there is correlation. There's direct correlation to everything. Where you might have $1, it might cost us $1.50 per click to get somebody to click on our ad in Scottsdale Homes for Sale. Now, if we look at Chandler or Gilbert, which is south of there, the housing prices are much less. The median house price is a lot less. So people aren't going to be willing to bid as much. So it does have a correlation when you're talking on real estate, how much the housing prices are in your area. And I always use this as an example, a great example of a Midwest market, and kind of a hot, expensive market is if you're going up and saying Indianapolis versus Scottsdale, the housing prices are off the charts different. So you're going to get a lot lower cost per lead and a lot lower cost per click in Indianapolis because there's a good amount of volume in that metro area, and the housing prices aren't through the roof. Whereas Scottsdale, people are willing to pay $20, $30 a click or a lead for a Scottsdale lead, because the Scottsdale lead, if they close one of those, they're going to get a massive return on their commission. So that all has correlation to it too. But again, getting back to what's important. What's important is when you want to get a lower cost per click, you have to make sure you keep in mind those four factors. The four factors, again, is your click-through rate, your keyword quality score, your landing page experience, and your number of competitors. Like, what's the search volume and what's the competition look like? Once you navigate that, and if you can win at those first 3, then there's a good chance that regardless of how expensive that market is and how expensive everything is, you're going to be generating leads at a lower cost per lead than your competitor, than your neighbor, than the person that you're going up against trying to get that listing or trying to help your new clients buy a house. Like, that costs you a lot less, and that puts dollars back in your pocket. So keep that in mind when people are asking us, why does it cost more here? Why does it cost more there? It has a lot of correlation to do with the search volume. It has a lot of correlation to do with the competitors and what those competitors are willing to pay per click because of the prices of the houses. But you can always have control over how much you spend and how much you don't, and what kind of skin you want to put in the game. So there's always a math formula when you're talking about Google Ads. I hope this brings clarity a little bit to what you can do to get cheap clicks. We're talking about quality keywords. We're not talking about cheap keywords. 2 different things. But to get cheap clicks or a cheaper cost per click, it's a pretty easy formula. You just have to do work, and you have to continue to refine your work, and you have to continue to work against the competition. But if you find that sweet spot, you're going to be able to generate a good amount of leads at a quality price. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions about this, you'd like to have us take a look at your stuff, we'll do that for sure. We're always here to answer questions, but if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments section. And if you want to reach out to us directly, just come to drivenleads.com and reach out. We'll be sure to answer any questions that come up. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you soon.